We have a flag. Big fish. Come at me. Oh my God, it's another big one. It's another big one, guys. Oh, it's another giant. Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going ice fishing. This will be my second ice fishing trip of the year. The first one was nothing crazy. Got a few fish, got some of the kinks worked out with, new gear, make sure everything works. Today we are going for northern pike, hopefully big northern pike. We're going to one of my favorite lakes that has some really, really big pike. I am by myself today, dragging everything out myself. Setting up everything myself. So I'm going to go through kind of like a little bit like my process and how I maximize my time, especially because I am out there by myself. Things take a little bit longer. So maximizing your time when you're out on the ice is really important when you're going for a big fish. So I'm going to go through some tips for maximizing time. I'm going to go through some of the lures that I like to use for pike through the ice that could be applicable to other fish as well. But without further ado, let's get to the lake. All right, got my tip up set up in 12.5 feet of water. I'm gonna set the shack up over there. It's about 9 feet over there. So a little bit deeper over here. That's a little bit closer to the weed beds. This is closer to the deep spot. See if we can make something happen. All right, so this is a hole that I'm gonna jig in the shack, but it's gonna take me some time to shovel this out, get the shack set up and everything. So might as well throw down a tip up. I'm allowed 2 lines, so I have one there and one here. And then once the shack is set up and everything, I can take this out and jig in this hole. So it's just about maximizing time, having lines in the water as much as possible, just maximizing your chance of a fish coming by. I'm not expecting to catch a ton of fish today. It's not like it's hot and heavy, you're getting a bite every 2 minutes of smaller fish, but there are really big fish in this lake, and so with that comes you're not going to catch a million of them in a day, but the ones that do show up should be really, really nice fish. So it's really about maximizing time, not wasting time, keeping lines in the water as much as possible. Hey guys, we have a flag. Oh man, he's spinning. Holy crap. Big fish. Coming at me. Coming at me. I was just setting up the shack. Man, he took out a lot. Oh my God, it's another big one. It's another big one, guys. Oh, it's another giant. Oh my God, it's a giant. Oh, he's big. I can see him under the ice right here. Oh! Guys, look at that fish. I've been here for I don't know, this tip has probably been down like 5-10 minutes. That is a giant fish. I need to get a tape on him. This fish is about 41 inch giant pike. This is the pike I was looking for today. 41 inches. Let's go. Look at that. 41. Yes. All right, I'm gonna try to release this guy. Oh. I'm just holding her, letting her get her strength back. Those fights take a lot out of big pike like this. So you really have to let them recover. I like to move them back and forth a little bit because and I try not to get any snow or slush in their gills, but I'm not perfect. So if I do, that can help kind of flush it out. Oh, man, I wish it's so cold. I even have a hand warmer on my GoPro and it died after like 2 minutes of recording. I really wish I had head cam going for this, but I'm glad I got some kind of coverage. Her fins are moving, but she's not quite ready. You'll know when they're ready because they'll kick off real strong. Man, oh, there's a kick. There she goes. Yes! Yes! Oh, I am marking this hole for sure. Yes! Oh, there was so much slime and blood on my camera screen. We did it. That was a 41-inch northern pike. After like, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 minutes of that tip up being down. That's why you put a tip up out first. I put this tip up out, then I drilled a hole for the shack and I'm shoveling out the shack. But I have 2 tip ups down while I'm doing that so that they can be fishing while I'm working getting the shack set up. A lot of snow and frost on my beard. I look like Santa Claus. Let's go. Check it out, you guys. So this is the quick strike rig from the tip up that I caught that big fish on just now. And I don't know if you can see that. That used to be an entire swivel, but it just came apart on me. Here, I'll show you another one to compare it. So that's what it should look like. It's got both ends on it. This one just came apart on me. And it happened as I was trying to set it back down, like set it after that fish. So that would have lost me that big fish. So that's close. I've never had a barrel swivel fail on me like that. So here's a good side by side. Just came apart. It lasted that whole fight, you know, and I've used that rig before. But then it just completely came apart. So I guess it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. All right. There's a fish down there. It's messing with my lure. I'm guessing it's a pike. Don't think it's huge, but I don't do a lot of jigging for pike. I do mostly on the ice. I like to go spearing for them when I can. But this lake, the water's so dark, there's no use spearing because you can't see anything. So jigging for pike is definitely a new one for me. I'll show you what I'm using. This is a chartreuse glow tube jig. Little piece of herring. If I can let it, because it's glow, you have to kind of charge them up using some kind of, usually UV light. They make like lamps, but since it's since there's sun, might as well glow it up using the sun. Oh gosh, I made a mess. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Now it's down. Maybe that fresh glow will get that fish interested. On the topic of maximizing your time out here, keeping the line in the water, I want to go check on that tip up that I set, because I kind of just hastily set it after that fish, and I want to make sure I set it right and I like the depth and everything. But I don't want to just, and I don't want to lose my rod by just leaving it in here. But I want to maximize my time out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this tip up in my jigging hole for when I'm gone. I don't know how long I'm going to be. Not too long, but long enough for a fish to come by. Nice juicy herring. What I'm also curious about, that this will potentially help me learn, is whether I should be just jigging a herring like this, or whether having an actual lure is better. And so I'm going to put this down. If it gets hit when I'm gone, then I know to just put one of these on my rod. So we're going with little herring, 2 treble hooks. I'm going to reel up this line. Put this guy down there. I'll show this. So basically, when the fish pulls, there we go, the flag goes up. That's how you know there's a fish on there. So I'm going to reel up some. And then set this. Cool. And now this is fishing while I'm going to go check that tip up. So. Alright, I'm resetting this tip up. I want to check the depth and everything. And also this bait is kind of messed up. So I want to put a fresh piece on there. And I have some hooligan. Caught these in Girdwood, or around Girdwood. And they're doing pretty well for me. They're a little bit bigger. So maybe a pike will like that. Maybe it'll stand out a little more. I'm all about trying new baits and stuff. I'm gonna send that guy down. It's like right on the bottom, which probably isn't a terrible place for it, but I usually like being a little bit up from the bottom. That looks good right there. All right, fish him. We have a flag in the tent. He's not there though. Oh, yeah, he is. Ha 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 ha. Hey, they're not all monsters. They're not all PBs. But we did get him. Little guy. Well, get my stuff all slimy. They're not all. Oh my gosh! Stop! I'm trying to show you off. Little guy, stop. They're not all giants, but they're all fun. There he goes. Zoomed off. Okay. Oh my god, my hands are cold. I'm gonna warm up my hands before I set this back up. Well, hey. 2 fish on the day. One a little bit bigger than the other.
That's probably the fish that was messing with my tube jig. Just a little bit too small to get the hook. All right.
All right. Well, while we're sitting here, I thought I might go over the kind of lures I like to use for pike through the ice. Like I said before, I don't always jig for pike through the ice. I always, usually had tip-ups out. And I generally like to spear for pike, so I use like different decoys that I'll go over in another video. And then that same tip-up setup where you'd have a bait fish, herring, anchovy, smelt, something on what's called a quick strike rig, which is those 2 treble hooks going to the 3-way swivel, and then you just jig that. But since I'm not spearing today, I thought I might try some different lures. Thought I had a mark. That you can try for really for all kinds of fish, but particularly for pike. And so one that is very popular is a tube jig. And this is a really big one, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a tube. The swivel or the eye is usually not at the front, but it's somewhere towards the middle so that it can hang or horizontal. And then you've got these like squid-like tentacles that'll do that, help entice a strike. Very popular for pike, lake trout, burbot. It's very, very good bait to use. And they come in different sizes too. You can get smaller ones, you can get different colors. One that I like to use for pike in slightly clearer conditions is a spoon like this, because when you jig it up and when it falls down, it kind of flashes. Like you can see, that's pretty flashy. I'm probably going to try this in a little bit but because the water is so dark, I don't think it'll flash very well. And so I'd rather have a live bait presentation that does do some flash when I jig it, but also, smells like a dead fish. But very popular to use spoons. We got tube jigs, spoons, other kinds of jigs that imitate little bait fish. This is a paddle tail, which can be really nice. Gives a really good action, kind of kicks like it's actually swimming. What else? I think those are the big ones. Oh, and then you have, and I don't have the size I would want for pike for these, but you have these kind of rattle bait. And this one actually doesn't rattle, like it doesn't rattle, but it vibrates. So when you jig it up in the water, it actually like vibrates. But also like another real flashy bait. This one's a little bit small, I think, for pike, especially the hooks are pretty small. But those are also popular. I've heard them called jigging wraps, ripping wraps, essentially a lipless crankbait. Yeah, so different kinds of jigs, tube jigs, and then spoons are definitely the most, I would say, the most popular lures to jig for pike. So something to think about if you're trying to get into fishing for pike, or ice fishing in general. Different kinds of jigs and spoons to look at that might help you catch your first 41-inch northern pike. I think it's lunchtime, and I didn't bring anything super fancy. I brought my jet boil. Last time I was on the ice, I made, actually fried up some pike that we caught, and it was very good, but I had to bring out a bunch of stuff, and it made the tent smell like fish fry, which I like, oh my god, it's cold, for a little bit, but I don't want my shack to permanently smell like fried fish or frying oil. So I wanted to bring out something a little easier. I had like 4 or 5 Mountain House that I haven't eaten in like who knows how many years. So I figured might as well make that. If you've never used a jet boil, they're super nice. I love mine. It's limited. I mean, it is for boiling water, and that's pretty much it. But it is very good at that. So it's going to turn this. It's a little cold, which is fine. Just let it warm itself up. And we'll skip this. I mean, it's hot, so it could start to boil, right? And for lunch today, we have lasagna with meat sauce. One of the best Mountain House flavors, in my opinion. Lunch, I think, is ready. Just some Mountain House, boiled up with a jet boil. Nothing fancy, but should be warm. Good. Oh yeah. That looks great. Initially I didn't think I had enough water, and so I boiled up some more and boiled up more than I needed to. But what was nice is my water in my bottle was starting to freeze, and so the water I didn't use in the Mountain House just went back into the bottle and helped kind of thaw it out. So that was good. Not bad. When I'm out on the ice, usually I have just like a Cliff Bar or granola bar or something, so this is much better. I wasn't super cold because I've been here in the shack and the heater's on, but this will definitely help warm me up. I got warm coffee too, but never underestimate the power of a hot drink or hot food on a cold day to warm you up from the inside. Oh, didn't want to save some coffee for my drive home, because last fishing trip I went on, my drive home was about half as long as this one's going to be. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, there's a fish down there. He might be big, actually. Oh, oh. No, he came off. Oh, that was a good fish. Give it back to him. That's the thing about jigging with this, is I can't tell if he gets the hooks or not. I kind of just have to guess or hope. Oh man, that rod was bent right over. Dang it. I could have let him try to run with it a little bit, but I mean, that was a solid